It's a piece of crap. It's a piece of crap and it loosens right there. It's supposed to say upright, but it turns instead. I know exactly how to do it, but it's not a well-engineered device at all. It's a piece of garbage. It's supposed to stay there in that groove, and it doesn't.
There's a mechanism.
Don't blame the mechanism!
Ayo, DSP projecting here, and if you couldn't tell already, I'm a don't blame the mechanism style person. Ironically enough, that Mike Shock catastrophic failure wasn't even a part of the tech issue he sets up in this following preamble.
Like, no exaggeration, this year has been a really strong start. As you can see, things have improved and changed for the better. Despite the tech issues that we're having, which we're going to talk about and try to get to the bottom of, it's still been great. And I'm ready for a fun show here with you all. So that's coming up. But we also got tech issues to talk about. And at this point, I don't really know what other help I could really get for myself. Like, I've searched the internet. I've looked for solutions. I don't think there are any. Sadly, I think I'm in a unique situation. I'd like to discuss that situation with all of you. Maybe some of you have more experience than me and can help me out with this situation, whether it's someone live on stream or someone in the comments of the video after the fact. These tech issues at this point are really starting to get to me.
Filbert, it's your lucky day. You may have been doing this for 16 years, but I've been doing it for 4 months, and I'm already vastly more knowledgeable than I think you'll ever be. But my success relies on your ability to pay for your gated community, which he needs, by the way, because he knows anyone can come in from out of state, beat him up, and worst case under liberal Washington laws, maybe pay a pittance of a cash bond. It would get out, leave, and just never come back. This is a parody channel. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just joking around about why Phil is so scared all the time. Getting back on track, I'm gonna help you out with your tech issues to keep you safe, okay, buddy?
I got a lot going on, right? I do. I've got a lot going on. And I'm disappointed that here we are 2 months into the upgrade, right? 2 months. And we're still not done with issues. I've had enough. You get to your wit's end. And I just want this now for the rest of 2025. I literally just want to cruise through this year and enjoy the tech now that I purchased and set up.
There won't be any cruising this year, because while yes, what you bought is technically tech, it doesn't appear to be the correct tech. But go on, my frustrated king.
So what I'd like to do to start the show is address some of the issues that I'm having and to let you know about possible solutions or things that I've figured out and implemented. And we're going to see if anyone has any ideas that can help me out, because at this point, I'm at my wit's end. I think I've done what I can, and I think some of them are solved. But at this point, I want to be sure that I'm doing everything that I possibly can. All right? Flatman B did a $2 tip and says, a lot of pre-built computers come with an underpowered power supply to cut corners and save some money. You probably have a 500 watt or 650 to 7. I believe it's an 800. I think we looked into it, and it's an 800 watt. Throw 1,000 or 1,300 watt. It will not fix all but many problems, and this should help. If that is determined to be my issue, I would not have a problem doing that. Of course, what I would have to do is remove the old one and figure out how to hook it up to everything properly, which I haven't done that in ages, so I'm not sure I would do it right. But if that's what it has to be, then that's what it has to be. I'm not going to lie. It is a possibility that could be what's going on. I'm going to talk about my issues in a second, and you guys are going to be like, it's a weird situation. It's a very confusing, suspect situation. I feel like I need Sherlock Holmes in here to start sniffing up the clues of what's really going on with these PC issues at this point.
What the fuck is Phil's business that people are paying to give him tech advice? Typically, you pay the people who fix your IT issues, but when looking at the advice giving, it's clearly that the Densidist was reciprocated. It's not power supply issues, simple as that, and if it were, Phil's not capable of doing it himself. Audio style viewers may want to check out pictures from my recent power supply swap and erase the cable management. In one of my previous videos, which I'll throw a card for at the end of this video, I went through my sub $1,000, post-tax of course, video editing PC build. It has a 12GB 3060 in it right now, but the whole plan was to keep it at $1,000 to start, then swap out parts as I find deals or what I want is available. And after I swap out enough, with just a few more purchases, I can build a secondary PC. During December, this power supply was a steal, and I'm kind of hoping to get my hands on a 5070, since that'll be a pretty justifiable upgrade from my cromulent card. but I knew a 650 watts would be pushing it, so I pulled the trigger early on an 850 watt PSU. Going from the non or semi-modular power supply that Phil's cheap pre-built likely has to a fully modular power supply can be a bit complex because you need to make sure you're selecting the correct cables and all of the necessary cables from the dozen that may come with higher end units. Making sure all of the connections are made correctly and the cable management that comes along with it requires a level of detail I don't believe Phil is capable of. I can see it now. I had to make sure the CPU core still was hooked up to the power. No one told me that. Now the CPU's all fried. But that's neither here nor there because it's not the problem. Let's move on.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell just happened? Stupid Windows. Fancy D. This is supposed to be like a medieval font, and it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? A medieval font. All right. Now let's get to the subject at hand, okay? Oh, is he being racist yet again? So, let's talk about tech issues that I'm having, because maybe you guys have some ideas, okay? All right. Cool. So let's continue. So here's the deal, folks. What tech issues have been ongoing tech issues that I've been having? Let's discuss these, okay, one by one. First off, okay, one issue that I'm having that's an ongoing issue. The wireless connectivity of my my capture and streaming PC, not the gaming PC, but the capture and streaming PC, getting wirelessly connected to my wireless router downstairs, which then is connected to all of my wireless devices. Now, you might say, what do you mean? Why do you need wireless? I thought your capture streaming PC is hooked up via Ethernet because you're streaming right now. You upload videos. Don't you use Ethernet? I do. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely do. I have a modem that is dedicated just to that PC for uploading and streaming. It's literally only used for uploading and streaming. That's it. It has its own modem in the office here, okay? However, everything today is wireless. I'll give you an example.
His example was just an excuse to talk about his light, so I cut him there. Also, I want to just try to understand the foundation of his network before he gets back into his problems. He's very bad at accurately articulating situations, so I may have been making some inferences here, but it sounds like in his office he has his business internet line that hooks up into a modem that he owns. He goes on the Comcast strand at some point. I probably won't include it for your sake. This modem may have one or two Ethernet ports on it that plug directly into his streaming and maybe gaming PC. So then this PC is directly hardwired into a modem for one internet line. And in his Comcast rant, he clarifies it's just a modem, not a router. Then tries to connect the same PC to a different wireless network that sounds like it's coming from a different internet line. That way, all of his RGBs can talk to the same host, I feel like, which is completely unnecessary at the end of the day. Like, this just seems dented, almost like he has graft versus host, but the graft is RGBs. Let me hear the boys' issues out, though.
Okay? All of a sudden, I kept losing the wireless connection between this PC and my wireless router downstairs. And I'm like, why does it keep disconnecting? The thing is, here's the funny part about it, okay? Guess what else in my house? I just spilled water all over the place, so I need to get a napkin here. Guess what else in my house uses that same connection? My phone. Guess what never disconnects ever from that? My phone. So if my phone is always connected to the wireless network and has no issue, why is my PC having said issue? Okay, I got to get some stuff to clean this up because I just knocked my drink. Hold on.
Maybe you're losing connections because your computer is connected to an Ethernet line, so it's just like, yo, fuck this Wi-Fi. And the phone is a terrible example because it very well could be disconnecting, but you don't even realize it because it's doing the same thing, but with 5G. You don't notice because you can play WWEC over 5G uninterrupted, but that's not the case for the RGBs, so you're running into problems.
Okay, so I cleaned up a big mess. I spilled my drink here. So if my wireless connection is working fine with my phone nonstop, why is the wireless connection consistently disconnecting on my capture and streaming PC? And I tried different things. I tried setting up to auto reconnect. It literally has not auto reconnected once ever. If it disconnects, it just disconnects. and you've probably seen this before. My lights just turn off behind me, and I'm like, and then I go to look for the network, and the network's not there. And I got to wait, and then all of a sudden the network will come back, and I reconnect, and it works again. And then it'll just disconnect 5 minutes later again. And sometimes it'll eventually fix itself over time and work again and be stable. And then other times it won't work at all, and I have to restart my whole PC, and then all of a sudden it'll work. All right? So basically, the crap hit the fan last night. I was playing Balatro, okay? And it just went off and would not reconnect no matter what I tried. It wouldn't work. In fact, it wasn't even showing up, okay? So I got pretty frustrated with it. And like I said, I restarted the computer, and the network still didn't show up. And I'm like, dude, I restarted and it's still not there. And then I realized something. I said, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's the simplest solution that you overlook. And it could be that's the issue. And I said, what would be the absolute simplest solution to this problem? Something's loose. So I went to the back of the PC, and this PC has 2 big antennas that stick out of the motherboard, okay, that you can adjust or whatever to try to get a wireless signal. And I touch one, and it's really loose. It's not even like, a little loose. It's like barely on. I was like, what? Now, I had these on tight. So what? Are you telling me this thing auto loosens itself over time? I'm not back there twisting it. And it was on tight when I got the PC. So I basically went, oh, shit. And I tightened it all the way. And the other one, I tightened as far as I could. And I put the antennas, up again. And I tried. It has worked now since last night. 0 problems.
Captain Redface needs to lay off the Captain Morgan, slogging his glass of grog, spilling it everywhere. But spoiler alert, it did not fix the issue, and later in the stream he has the same exact issue. He wants this mix-mash mesh bridge network, a tale of 2 internets. But brother! That's not how life works just because you want it to. You need to buy a decent wireless router that connects directly to your business line modem. From that router, you will hardwire the gaming and streaming PCs. Also on that router, you will disable all Wi-Fi networking options except for one unique 2.4 GHz only network. That network is then to only be used for what Phil would qualify as mission-critical lighting stuff. The computer would not need to use Wi-Fi to communicate with a different internet line. All communications would be done through that router. At the end of the day, Wi-Fi shouldn't be on that streaming PC, and if it's hardwired, it will only cause problems exactly as it's doing.
All right. So that's issue number 1, and I think maybe we figured it out, okay? Now, the other issue that I'm having is an ongoing issue that I don't think is a simple solution, and sadly, I feel like it's going to be a problem, all right? So allow me to explain. Ooh, excuse me. So, the other ongoing issue that we are having absolutely has something to do or has a relation with the USB ports on my new PC. All right? I suspect there's something wrong with certain USB ports, and there could be various different reasons that could lead to that. All right? People have actually been already kind of brainstorming reasons why these USB ports aren't working properly. Okay? So allow me to explain what I mean. Particularly, it seems to be an issue with my webcams. But basically, after this Windows update happened a week ago, okay, this thing has been bricked. Meaning, if I plug this into my PC, any port for the record, not only one USB port or another, it turns on, which means it goes blue. There's a blue light on it, which indicates it's powered up, and then immediately just turns itself right back off. And I tried everything. Nothing fixes this issue. I tried manually updating the firmware on it. It doesn't do anything. I tried updating the software, the proprietary software that this comes with. It doesn't even detect the camera. So whatever this Windows update was a week ago, this Windows security update, okay, it made it so that this just won't work properly with Windows 11 anymore. I think that's ridiculous because you're telling me people are going to buy this webcam because you could still buy it right now. Even though there's newer models, you could still buy this off of Amazon and other places right now. And these people are going to go to install it and it's just not going to work. all because Microsoft did this stupid Windows update. Okay. Now, I haven't found the solution for this yet. I'm strongly considering rolling back the Windows update from a week ago because this worked perfectly before that Windows update. And if that's the case, if I can get that to work, I can actually have this camera over here instead of the stationary one. And here's the cool thing.
There is no cool thing. I don't understand. The issue has to be USB, even though the USB was working fine, and the Windows update caused the issue. And rolling back the update would fix it, but this is where I get even more lost. You don't want to roll back Windows and fix the issue, you just want the issue to be a USB problem? Instead of just biting the bullet and rolling back Windows, Phil wants it to be a USB issue, so it has to be a USB issue. This feels like in Street Fighter when the video game says the other player won, but Phil says he won because the other player was doing the pattern playing style. This is a Windows update issue, but Phil says it should be a USB issue, so now that's Phil's reality, a reality that ones and zeros operate independently of. He uses this as an excuse to show off like 3 of his USB hubs, some powered and some not. I'll spare you that clip because at the end of the day, if your content depends on it, your peripherals need to be plugged directly into your computer. I won't even get into the possibilities of his cheap powered USB hubs overpowering the webcams, which would cause them to shut down. I will get into the possibilities of you subscribing to this channel, liking this video, and commenting your tech theories down below. It all does help with the algorithm, so I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Deuces.